Hello, everybody. We'll be going live here in a few moments.
KXVS, the voice of Stockton, presents the Lance McHan Show with your host, Lance McHan.
Good morning, everybody. Hi, my name is Lance McHan, and this is the Lance McHan Show, brought to you by SellYourHomeStockton.com. I'm a local realtor with Keller Williams. My license number is BRE01987449, and my guest today is Jamie Guerrero with Kelleys Angels. Good morning, Jamie.
Good morning,
Kelly.
A lot of people call me Kelly. It's funny.
Let's get right into this. So, what is Kelleys Angels?
Kelleys Angels was founded by me. It came from I lost my sister due to domestic violence in 2014, actually March 17, 2014. And what I did, I was at Sac State and I did like a report on people affected by violence, and within my research it was pretty hard to find any research on children affected by homicide. So I just dug into it a little bit more, and
So you're saying there were no studies on the effects, or just very little?
very little. And in fact, what they came up with is the kids were called the forgotten children.
Oh, wow.
So I did see a lot of support groups and for adults that are grieving, and what I noticed is
A need.
Yeah. I mean, we got these little kids kind of running around, and while the parents were trying to heal, or guardians or whoever was grieving, and it's very important for the kids to also grieve too. So
I could totally see them getting lost in the shuffle of trying to navigate raising them,
right,
and grieving at the same time, and going through the grieving process. And people tend to get a little selfish in those times.
Yeah, and of course, I mean, you're grieving, and there's no particular way that you can grieve.
Right.
Everybody does it their own way. Some will accept help, some won't. Like I said, the support groups were there, and once they're, I guess they would say, empowered by the support, kind of like the kids are kind of like left out. They're there, but they're kind of left out. And
so they would never invite the kids into these support groups?
The kids are there, but there's not a support for
system.
them.
I got
you. So they're kind of like playing and running around, but there's not actually no guidance right there, And I just kind of like, hey, like I said, I was doing the research, and there's parts of the brain that shuts off speech and learning and stuff like that. So, while the kids in the corner not participating in class, or
I see.
just not engaging, like
They kind of go into a shell.
Right.
Because they're traumatized.
They're traumatized. There you go. So, what I wanted to do is I know, so they're affected by trauma, so their education might slip. So we provide the tutoring, and then definitely they have attachment issues, so they kind of lose, like, say they're playing a sport and mom's always there or dad's always there, and then all of a sudden
Dad's gone.
they're gone.
That anchor that is gone, so they don't care about the sport any longer.
And then from being like coaching Little League and all that stuff, I kind of I can see the faces of kids light up when their parents or family shows up. It's just like, it becomes like,
then they start performing at a higher level.
Higher level,
because they want to impress.
Or they're just happy that someone's there to see them.
Right.
And we went on with the mentoring, and then we help scholarship kids for like sports. And
let's back up a little bit.
Yeah.
So in the studies, what did you see in the studies that you were researching that really spawned that thought, like, what was your moment? What was that thing you said, I need to do something?
Oh,
And if not me, who?
The moment, I will tell you, was we had went into victim witness, and they help with, it's called the Cal VCP, and is if you're affected by a homicide, that they can help with burial cost.
Oh, wow.
So, I went to go get these services, and of course it's like in the courthouse, and if you've been in the courthouse, victim witness department is kind of really nice, and like it looks like a little jail or something, and you got the DAs and all kinds of people just walking around, in suits and stuff, and for someone who's going through a trauma, it's not very comforting.
Right.
So even though the people that are working there have been going through this for years, because we have a high homicide rate.
You don't say.
A lot of them are sympathetic, but they're not empathetic. So
they're kind of numb to.
Right.
They've seen it.
Right.
They've seen it all before. It's just a different face.
Right. So I kind of took that, and I was like kind of overwhelmed, like for the help that they were helping, but yet it wasn't really too comforting. So I was like, man, how can I make this a little bit more comforting to a victim? Mm-hmm. And who else can help besides someone who's been through the same thing? So
that makes sense.
So I was just like, that's when I started doing my research, and did that on my report on that.
So what was the research that you found? Like what did you find that caused issues with the kids? Was there any research that showed before and afters? Like were there like double-blind studies or anything?
Right.
Where they showed kids who had benefits?
So there is none, because you have to do a longitudinal study. So if you
wow.
get a kid that's like 6 years old, you're really gonna have to follow until
they're 30
or
40.
at least till they graduate. So that's what we kind of did. Is like I was like, well, let's make our age range from like 5 to 17, and hopefully if we can get them with us and we can help guide them and get them graduate, get them to school,
mentorship,
get them to school, and hopefully they'll come back and be able to help some of the same people.
Oh wow!
So that's kind of like my goal.
This whole vision.
Yeah,
it
right.
started from a seed. I can see the tree that you're trying to grow right now. Like you're trying to build this huge network of take from addiction. There's tons of people who've been through addiction and through the process and have come back and got their counseling certificates and come back and give back to the people who are struggling. So you're trying to create that same model,
right?
But in a victim.
Yeah, because the things too is like when that happened, and I didn't want to be here. I didn't want to leave Stockton. I mean, I didn't want to be in Stockton and all that kind of stuff. And this is bad. But how am I going to say that if I'm not doing nothing to help?
Right.
So I jumped in, and I'm just trying to do what my vision is. So
I don't know that a lot of people. I mean, we're friends on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people support you, but I don't, and that's why I wanted you on here, because I don't think people really know the vision behind Kelleys Angels and what it is.
Yeah.
So, I mean, plus I've known Jamie for half my life.
Yeah.
But I didn't even know until we started talking. I'm like, dude, I want you on my show.
Yeah.
So I want you. So elaborate a little bit more on the vision.
Yeah. Well, on the vision. Definitely is like what we're looking to really actually be is a full bereavement center.
Okay.
So where we can just have everything included in our one center, and that's really like a 10-year goal, But
it's not gonna happen overnight.
Right. So I'm taking my little stepping stones in here and building relationships within our city, and it's great to see all the people that. Stockton has a lot of people who's really involved in the community.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
It's and that's part of the reason why I started this show, because there's a lot of small business owners, nonprofits, and even individuals themselves who.
Right.
I met a lady the other day. I'm not going to mention her name. We were at a board meeting, and there was a bill, a $10,000 bill that the board owed this tax preparer from like 7 years ago. It's like this bill was still hanging over their head, and she was like, "So if I write a check today, will that take care of it?" And everybody was just speechless. So there's a lot of people willing to help, but they gotta know. They gotta know you. They gotta know that you're doing good. You're not just gonna squander that money and use it.
Definitely. I know when I jumped in this with both feet, I know the CPFSJ, which is Community Partnerships of San Joaquin, and I met Mike Van, and he kind of like greeted me with open arms, and just like kind of started putting me in on stuff, and then that led to relationship with the Table Community Foundation, which they're doing also great things with the youth out there behind the fairgrounds and their flag football, and those are the two of the groups that like really like
guided you through this process.
Yeah, just been like hey, that's like my first real support, and now I've reached out to like bigger companies and corporations, and they're like, hey, we deal with people who's been more sustained, and I didn't get like angry. I understand that because a lot of people come and go, especially in this nonprofit world. So.
Yeah, there's a lot of hands out, but what are you doing?
Yeah. So I mean,
because I remember when all this happened years ago, I even think friends don't know how to approach somebody who's been through it. I mean, because like, what do you say to a guy you've known 20 years and go,
right?
It's like you're just like, what do I say? I'm sorry for your loss. It's like, no, I'm hurting.
Yeah,
you don't understand.
Right.
So, I applaud your fortitude moving forward with this vision.
Yeah, and I definitely got to thank everybody who's supported it, because I mean, sometimes there's like, I can't believe how much support I'm actually getting. But
you ever wake up and like, man, I can't pinch yourself like, wow, I can't believe I started this.
Sometimes it's still don't.
It's still not there yet.
It's still not there. I don't know. It doesn't really feel like nothing, and I think that's why I enjoy it, because it don't feel like work.
Right.
It's just like, I'm enjoying doing what I'm doing, and being able to help, and all that other stuff that comes, like people saying nice things and stuff. It's just like, I appreciate it, but it's like, what did I do? I'm just,
I'm just me.
Yeah,
you're silly.
Yeah. So
as long as it doesn't go to your head, I think you'll be okay.
Yeah, I think so. But yeah. Well,
so who helped guide you through? I mean, because building, we've talked about nonprofits before.
Yeah.
Who walked you through the steps? Like, who do you have to go, man, that person really helped me out a lot?
Dang.
I mean, I'm sure there's quite a few people. You might not want to exclude some people, but it's a treacherous course to traverse. Like, you got to fill out this paperwork and that paperwork, and people look at you. Because anybody could do a nonprofit, but how do you do a nonprofit and make it sustainable and workable?
Well, it's a lot of listening. It's a lot of listening and just learning and just soaking up all the knowledge that's out there. So, and I have to sit back because it's kind of new to me. So I can have my opinions about my study. I did psychology, and I come at it as a psychological aspect of so it's more statistics and all that kind of stuff. But really, I guess I would say the school system, the higher education, just really taught me to, like, hey, if you need to learn something, you gotta dig.
Go get a book.
Go get a book. And
there's books out there for everything.
There's books out there I'm not very good with, like, I can't even read on the computer screen. I have to get a book and or print it out and read it on a paper. But that's just me. But yeah, I mean, all the information's out there, and the whole thing is doing it. Ooh.
Get some questions here.
Oh, really? They'll see you next week. Lance. What do I eat for breakfast?
So how long has your nonprofit been open? How long have the doors been open? How long have you been taking kids?
We opened our doors to our office at 343 East Main Street, Suite 305 in the Court Tower. Court Tower has also been very supportive of what we're doing, and that opened exactly on my sister's birthday month. So it was
wow.
October, you know. So we had gotten the
Was it planned that way, or just things?
You
just
know,
kinda...
it ended up working out that way, and then it kind of became a plan. You know, like I was like, hey, let's open up by October.
Right.
You know, because we got our nonprofit status in March, so April, May, June, July. We did a couple of fundraising events to help get the generate the funds to open up the office.
Right.
Which, like I said, it's like all from the community, you know, and I can't really do the services we do out my house. So
That makes sense.
So you know, we have to have the.
It doesn't give you a whole lot of credibility.
Yeah,
if you're doing it in a bedroom in your house. You know,
yeah, the garage.
The garage,
But,
or whatever.
Yeah, that was our goal. Was like, hey, we need to be taken serious. We need to get this. I mean, it's a struggle, you know, and to get all these to be able to pay that and stuff. But I mean, we're rounding year 2, and we're starting to pick up on little grants here and there. So I'm setting my goals at, you know, $10,000 grant, and maybe next year we'll get 50,000, and you know. I got a lot of plans. If I just had the money to be able to do that,
Right.
I mean, yeah, it could be very useful. I'm ready.
Speaking of plans, so you actually have kids counseling in your office at this moment?
We are
Or
getting
you
ready
doing
to.
outreach?
So right now we have individual, but we do have a plan to start in June for more. You know, like I believe we're going to do an 8-week bereavement program. And we'll go through the grief process, and
So you're educating small children
yeah,
on, man, it's hard to even contemplate
Right,
as a
right,
child,
right.
man. Like, how do you explain to a child the bereavement process? Yeah, that's
yeah. So the first thing is to
challenging.
put it out there and let them know it's okay, and that they're not alone. They're not alone.
Yeah, I mean,
You know, like especially with my niece and my sons, like they didn't even realize like how many kids that they went to school with that had lost a brother, a mom, you know, and it's just so like kind of when we come together, it's like, oh, like I didn't even know.
yeah, I'm not alone.
Yeah, I'm not alone. So you know, and then when you go through this, there's just like something like between the survivors that there's just like a connection. Yeah, it was just a connection. Like it's weird. That's all I can say. It's really weird, but it's something. It's there.
Yeah, because you've both been through. It's like if you look at people who've been in the military, they have a kinship for each other.
Right.
Whether they served in the same platoon or branch, it doesn't matter.
Right.
They all come together and they support each other.
Right.
So I could see how that would same transition.
Yeah.
That's that bond. It's
Right.
the personal human bond that.
And we
connects you
know
guys.
we know that there's problems with the burial. We know there's going to be arguing. We know it's unreal. We know we have survivor's guilt. You know, there's just all that stuff that we know we're going through.
And then the infighting between family members of how it should be taken care of, and how,
Right.
you know, well, that was my brother, and this is this. And
Yeah.
It should be done this way and not that way.
That is always not very pretty at all. You know, so.
It's always difficult dealing with that. Do you help with the whole family nucleus, or specifically just for children?
Well, the thing is, for like, if someone is affected for a homicide and they don't feel like going to the courthouse, we can do the paper. They can come to us and we can do the paperwork,
Okay.
and we can help them get that burial cost, or get them counseling or relocation fees, or you know, because there's also money for that that helps. You know, just say there's a home invasion, you got shot. All right, you're out the hospital. Go back home.
Wow.
where all that blood and all that stuff is, where they just kick your
Oh.
door in and
Uh-huh.
stuff. Like, sure, go ahead and go home now. Like, I don't think so. You know,
Trauma, yeah,
it's a trauma. So, there's a lot of-
organizations to help clean up the house and.
well, you know, there's not even that many organizations, but there is like I said, relocation fee. They can maybe go
gotcha.
help you go get into another deposit in first and last month's rent to help you get into another place. It's a little process.
Yeah. Well, they just want to, and I don't blame the process because they want
Right.
to make sure that it's legitimate.
Right.
I mean,
See, but then they'll also open up something like, hey, we need emergency housing for people like that too. You know, it's part of a future plan. You know,
Mhm.
just like because
like
you know
there's
there's
like a
safe house.
safe house. Yes.
Yeah, and there's nonprofits down here that do it, but they're like full. They're full. You know, there's a lot of need down here, so they can't do all the work by themselves. So I mean, that's where I figured like, hey, there's still room for more.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of room for growth.
Right.
I know those grants, right? And those grants aren't always the easiest to go after because
Yeah.
everybody's trying to get money to.
And some of them grants are nationwide too, so you know you got competitors from everywhere trying to get the same funds. But some of the laws that had passed, like I'm not sure if it's AB 109, where they got the prison, nonviolent prisons that do the county
Mhm.
jail, and then instead of being on parole or on probation, there's a lot of money that built up from that, saving money from that. So it all kind of went into the VOCA account, and that's victims of crime.
So you've been able to tap into that.
I haven't been able to tap into it yet because, like I said,
It's a
we're
process.
building our sustainability. But you know, it's helped with the trauma. They have a trauma recovery center in Stockton. That you know, that's where the grant money came from.
Okay.
So you know, there's a lot to this stuff.
It's like you got your work cut out for you.
Yeah, and it's cool and interesting, and you know, I just like we said, back to the main question, is like, so we can help families with that, but like if it's like the adults, I can outsource them to other ones. But we are
you're connected well enough where you could,
Right.
like, you go over here.
Yeah.
I'll take your.
Yeah.
I'll work with your children.
Right, and then so that's how we do it. We kind of focus. I want to focus on what I can do best. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
Right. So like we work with Stockton Angel Mothers. That's mothers that have lost a child, you know,
Mhm.
either to like stillborn or breech, you know, and so they go do their their support group, and then we come in and kind of like do stuff with the kids.
Okay.
You know, so it's like our part. It's like we could work together and we can make it happen. Because if not, those kids are like barging in, like, hey, mom, you know, like, like, oh man. And we also do that with the victims of violent crimes. They're an organization that's been around here for quite a while now, but we're barely getting ready to start working with them. I went to one of their meetings and I kind of seen like the kids running around the altar and stuff. Like, hey man, what are you guys doing?
Yeah. Let me help you help them.
Yeah, so it was like, all right. I was like, hey, you know, I'd like to help because they do donations to us also too. So I was like, hey,
Let me get back to you.
Yeah, let me get
You're
back
giving
to
to me,
you.
and let me
Right.
help you.
right.
Help
So
the people that work.
it's like an hour meeting. You know,
Mhm.
we didn't come in there. Our kids do slime and coloring.
Yeah, that's
and-
big right now.
Yeah,
Kids would
so-
love make slime. It's like you used to have to buy it for like $5 at Target. Now you can just make it.
Right. Yeah, and they love making it. It's pretty fun. The niece has a big old gigantic slime ball like this big. They made yesterday made a bubble like. But yeah, it's pretty okay.
So how many kids? Do you know how many kids you've helped? Like,
Oh.
through specifically for your Kelly's Angels, the counseling. Do you have any success stories that you could share?
You know, like I said, it's a lot. It's gonna take a while
Right,
to figure it out.
I mean, has a kid come to you and been like totally introverted, and then
Well,
have
you
you seen?
know, like when they come to the office and they kick off their shoes and like feel like home, you
Yeah.
know, I just take that like hey,
That's a
you know,
a positive
that's a
sign.
yeah, for real. And you know, I don't. They just when they call me by my name and they know me, and you know, it's just like hey, you know, and it's just
A good feeling.
it's a good feeling, yeah.
My grandma used to say, if somebody can take off their shoes and take a nap at my house, they're home. That's what I want.
Right? Yeah. So I mean,
it's that connection. That
see, I just learned something right now. Like, see, if Grandma says, then hey,
Yeah.
you know, and that's just personally how I felt. Like, oh, like they just take off their shoes and they're kicking it.
Yeah.
They're reading, they're coloring, they're playing some little door basketball, or you know, they're just
With people who've gone through
Yeah.
exactly what they've gone through. So
yeah,
it's building that.
yeah. So
Who knows? It might be a lifelong friendship with some of these kids.
well, that's true, and then I just think that you know, we put something inside of the brain. Once you heard it, hey, maybe it'll stick. And right now we've been doing a partnership with Tilburg Press, and that's Paula Shield. She's right
Thank
in
you,
the
Paula.
yeah, she's right in the bottom of our building, and I'm on the third floor. But yeah, we just on Monday we did print and ink print making, so they're all making their own little print. They make Japanese notebooks. They made paper, like actually made their
Oh,
paper.
no way. Actually made paper.
Yeah, they made paper. So we've been doing, like, exposing the kids to a lot of stuff I ain't even been exposed to, you know?
That's a great idea. So could you take that paper they made and then make a notebook out of
Right.
it so they could have a journal?
Yes. So, you know, that's
Wow,
part
that's
of our
pretty-
that's part of our plan. I haven't talked to Miss Tama. She's from Spoken Words, and I'm like, I really want to talk to her about, hey, let's get these notebooks.
Are you listening? Put it out there.
Yeah, so we're gonna, you know, take those notebooks. But I know some of the kids have already written in them. Like my niece, she's already been writing in her journal.
Oh, wow.
You know, and it's like, hey, she made it all from. She made
She
the
made it her
paper.
own, yeah.
You know, she
That's
made
amazing.
the cover. They did some pretty cool stuff. So
I didn't even know you could make. I mean,
paper.
I was just thought you bought it. I mean,
Right.
and I know back in the day they made it, but I didn't even think that people still have that artisan feel.
Right. And that's what Tilburg does. It's all like printing stuff from kind of like from lost arts, I would say, that she's trying to keep going. And yeah, you can check her website out
So
also.
maybe I need to have her on my show.
Well, probably, yeah. She's cool, and her husband also is involved in the community with Stan. So yeah, there's some pretty nice
There's a
people.
lot of people involved in the community. I don't
There
think
is.
they get enough recognition. I put a post on Facebook the other day, like, what businesses and nonprofits, and man, there was tons of outpouring. I apologize if I haven't gone back to you. It's been crazy. I've been overwhelmed with the people that I got to connect with. I'm just like, man, I
Yeah.
think I'll be booked out for the next 6 months.
Definitely. There's a lot of people here that's trying to make this work, and I don't think if
But we can't do it alone. That's
no,
the thing.
right? And then
We can't.
if the people that are doing the work weren't doing the work, this city would probably be a lot
On fire.
lot worse. Yeah,
It'd be on
Yeah,
fire.
man. Seriously.
It'd definitely be on fire.
Yeah, because like I said, even like the table community, man, they got an open gym. Man, kids are there after school during spring break, all that. They got games and all that kind of stuff, and I can just imagine like what the kids would be doing.
Right.
You know?
I know what I was doing at that age.
Right.
I know what you were doing.
What? I was skateboarding.
Yeah, right. But I mean, but we had our outlets. We were out riding bikes, skateboarding.
Mhm.
We had a little group of friends we used to run around with. We didn't get trouble, but I could see how
Oh, easy.
it could easily be shifted into that, especially when you're numb from a loss. You just
Yes.
we have a case that I don't give it.
Right,
crap.
right. And that's what you gotta think about with them kids, you know? It's like, man, how angry can you be when someone took your mom?
Yeah.
You know?
Really
How
angry.
angry can you be when you took your brother? And as important it is, it's like we gotta realize the culture of it too. You know, like Mexicans have a certain way of handling things. Black people have certain ways
Wow.
of handling things. Asian, you know what I'm saying? It's also a cultural awareness, you know, because hey,
That's an aspect I didn't even think to
right,
how that worked.
right,
Yeah, that's a big envelope.
it is.
Next to my apartment building, there's a funeral home, and every couple months, they pull in a dumpster, and I believe it was a Hmong tradition where they basically celebrate for 24 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And tons of food, and just the family coming together to support the family of the loss. And I was just like, what's going on there? Like, and so I talked to the director. He's like, it's their cultural. So
Yeah.
bring that back is like, I don't think a lot of people think about that. How
No, they-
different ethnicities grieve in one form or another.
It's funny because they are starting to now. They are starting to now kind of be like, hey, your culture is like a little bit important. You know, even for us to learn, it was like, why do I feel sick to my stomach? Why am I always sick? Why am I always tired? You know, you gotta kind of realize those somatic symptoms that you might have. You know, there's some explanations to that.
So the mind is making the body sick.
Right. So as they start doing more of the neuro testing that's on the brain, they're able to pinpoint a little bit more of like what parts of the brain affect certain things, especially due to trauma.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
pretty deep.
Yeah, seriously, it's getting
You
deeper.
learned all this when you were doing your report at school, or this has been ongoing?
That's what I went to school for. So I kind of like learned that, and then I go and read, try to keep updated, and learn. I call the professors and like, hey, what book are we using right now?
Mm-hmm.
You know, maybe I go by it and
Just kind of
run through it, yeah, and then see what kind of research is coming up, because research takes years.
Yeah.
You know, even
But
with
those
statistics-
longitudinal studies would be.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
We're
that'd
difficult.
be pretty. To get a grant to do a longitudinal study like that would be.
and that's something that I'm interested in also. You know,
So if anybody out there is listening,
yeah, the thing is too is like I tell like high school kids and stuff like that. I was like, hey, you just really gotta use what you know and have an open mind, and because like really sometimes the life they live is being studied in books. You know what I mean? And this is being studied from someone who is not embedded in the culture or not in it. They're just kind of like outside looking in and like maybe
have an
asking
objective view.
asking questions and stuff like that. They're not like who, like I said, who would know better than someone like
Who's been through it?
been through it? So
To ask those questions, and
Right.
maybe they've had it as a young or a youth. Like, this is something that I never got answered. So
yeah,
I think the collaboration between the white coats and the people who've come together to make that study more effective instead of just the outside perspective.
right. We're being studied.
Yes. No,
And
it's
then-
the collaboration between doctors and people who've been
Yeah.
through it, who want to build.
Well, the thing is like our information is valuable. It's valuable. It's valuable to it, and
It's invaluable, I think, over the long term. If you think of how many people you could help over the long term if you were able to do this longitudinal study,
yeah,
then you'll be able to go out and go, okay, this is what we know.
yeah.
Do you want to know it?
My life has been a longitudinal study.
I think everybody's life is
Right.
a bit of it.
But also too, what we've added, we have a new art director that started last year, and she spearheaded like all of our art stuff, you know, because it's also a creative
Outlet.
for the kids, you know, and that her name is Allison Atas. She's a great teacher over here at Pullman, and
How'd you connect with her?
well, actually, we did a paint night at the Mexican Heritage Center, and we had a little booth out there, and she kind of like listened to the story and was like, I was like, hey, if you'd like to help, I'm looking for someone to do this for me. Like, I only really need a few hours a month, but I'd like for the kids to learn more about art.
Right.
So it was pretty cool. She reached out like a few months later, like, hey, I got this idea, and we do those mini altars, and then we do a big altar at the Mexican Heritage Center. We had like 13, 14 kids, and they all built like mini altars for their loved ones, and then we did a big altar for my sister and put all of theirs under the altar.
Oh, wow.
So that worked out pretty well.
Very symbolic.
Yeah, and still, no matter what, we were able to like say, I'll just take my son. He lost to his grandma and his auntie, but like I see, he's still not ready to deal with that. So he made his altar on Michael Jackson. So, you know what I mean? Just me seeing that is like,
wow.
I know something is, he's still got that wall up, you know, and he's still not ready to process that.
Bridge.
Yeah. So, you know, that's just things that we're able to analyze and look at, and, you know, do a different approach, or, you know, everybody comes on their own time, and, you know, I still probably haven't even did my grieving yet, you know.
I think your grieving is probably an ongoing process through the foundation.
Yeah, and you know what, the grieving is going to be ongoing forever. You know what I mean? Because I lost a big chunk of my heart right there. You know, and it takes a while. It takes a long time to heal. And I just got it in my head that, hey, it's going to be okay. I'm going to go through these emotions. I'm gonna have ups and downs, smiles and frowns.
There you go.
You know,
I like that.
so you know, that's all I can really say is like, hey, you know, you need a hug, or you need to talk, or, you know, just be a supportive ear. You know,
Sometimes all it takes is just that supportive ear, listening to somebody, not trying to fix them.
Right. Yeah. See,
Because sometimes there is no fixing right now. Just letting them vent, it could be.
Yeah, it could be good. It is good. Yeah. If you get someone to be able to talk, that's good.
Have you had people come back to you and go, like 6 months, a year later, and go, thank you? Have you had that yet?
Yeah. Yep. And then yeah, I have.
It's like currency for the soul, huh? It just, like, okay, I know I'm doing the right thing.
Right. Yeah. That's what is it? Confirmation.
So what are you doing now, like, as far as getting community awareness? What are you doing to let people know, other than being on the Lance McHan show?
You know, what I really do is I'm not out there as much because I like to respect our clients' privacy. You know what I mean? And I battle myself. You know, hey, do I blast all this, or do I just keep working silently, and then kind of open up to like a little bit? And then the thing is, like, so if people don't really want to know, then hey, let's talk. Let them talk to you one-on-one. And I can really talk. But like when it comes down to like putting it like super duper out there,
You don't want to put their personal business out there, but what is Jamie Guerrero doing to let the community know about Kelly's Angels? What are you doing in the community? Like, how are you getting known? Like, you started off as this idea, and now it's growing. So what are you doing?
That's what I do. I do go talk to people. I call them up. Hey, I'd like to meet you. I'd like to talk to you. It's like, hey, I'm gonna come by, or, you know,
so you're just connecting with different.
I'm just connecting with different people, and I go to like the different events. Not all like the business ones, but the ones that fit what I'm doing.
Trying to partner with them in some way.
Just
how can I help you?
Right. Or this is what I do. Like, if you ever need. So right now it's like you can get a hold of me on my phone number. You know, it's like the office number is kind of like, oh, that's a bad way to get a hold of me, but my number is available. I mean, it's heck easy to get. So, you know, I mean, that's the risk I'm taking, but I'll take it, you know, just to make the connections right now.
Right, but being available and being able to have that conversation with somebody who may be able to help you build your vision, that's the important thing.
Yeah. And what we're also doing too is with our little youth group, we're helping build they're like in charge of our movie nights and some of our slime parties, and you know, they arrange for like cleanup and take down. And my thing is the youth. I need their input to be able to serve them better. You know, our old ways, our old style, things are changing, and I need their information. I need their input. Like I said, they're ready. And
They have the keys. They just don't know it. So how do you help other people?
Right, and then that's just a little process trying to get them to see that, that hey,
Right.
This is what you can do. These are people you know. If you have a vision, these are the people that can help you. You know, so I'm putting them in the right places also too. So it's like my son and nephew and my niece, man, they know a lot of people already. You know, it's like hey, you know, with all the city officials and nonprofit people, it's like they know. Oh, I seen your son.
Yeah.
It's like, oh really? Like, that's good.
Yeah.
He's great. He's a gentleman. Great
Yeah, he's
great talking to him.
I know. I know.
Well, yeah,
It's funny. I used to volunteer at the school, and I would read, or the kids would read to me, and he would come up and he's like, I don't like reading. I'm like, you what? I knew you were into sports. I'm like,
Yeah.
do you like sports? Oh yeah. Who's your favorite player? I don't know much about sports, so I'm gonna leave that part out.
Yeah.
Well, we'll just say Michael Jordan. Okay. So do you think Michael Jordan wants to be good, or do you think he practices? And he's like, he practices. We go, so you need to practice reading. So, you know, I use that same line with all the other kids, and they really got it. Like, reading is important.
Yeah.
So, and he's grown up to be quite a young man.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
funny too. I'm like, hey, I need you to read an article today. He's like, I did. And I was like, dang. He's like, let me read this real quick so we can have a conversation now. You know, I was like,
Here, I already read it down. That's good. I do that same thing with my kids. I make them
just something current, you know?
read something outside their scope.
Right.
So speaking of reading, what are you reading right now? Are you reading any self-help book? What's Jamie Guerrero reading right now?
Oh man, Jamie's reading the guidelines for grants right now.
Okay.
He's like, hey, you can do this, you can do that. You can get grant money for this. You can do this. You can't do that. You can't do this. So it's just like going over that and then finding the research on that. So it could be like population that's affected by crime, the areas, the city, California in general, just things like that. I know another group that we're in that we work with is California Survivors for Justice, and they're getting ready to pass. They're working on a bill. I'm not quite sure what the bill number is right now, but they want to put trauma centers inside of schools. So, you know, kids or psychologists will be there and ready to help.
I think that's a good idea.
It's a great idea. I'm going to have to forward that email to you because they're looking for letters of support. So, you know.
Absolutely, because, I mean, and it's not, but trauma is such a broad term.
Right.
I mean, it could be child abuse, you know, neglect. So having, because when we went to school, there was counselors there. We could,
Right.
the door was pretty much open.
Yeah.
Counselors are pretty much gone now. There's no support system there,
Yeah.
other than the teacher. The teacher's the first line of defense.
Yeah, and with so many students, they're overwhelmed and they may not be able to see some of these things. Like I said, when the kids just all of a sudden quiet, or it was kids acting out violently. You know, it's like I said, my niece, she was tripping on Mother's Day when they're making cards.
Oh wow.
You know what I'm saying? These are things that we have to think. And I at the beginning of the year, I let the teachers know. I was like, hey, this is what my kids have gone through, and this is things that you can look out. If you can look out for these, so, which is helpful for the teachers.
Right.
And you know, like I said, it's like.
And that's a good point. My wife's a teacher, and I think a lot of times they just look at kids and
blame the parents. Hey man, the parents not there.
But yeah, you're right. The parents not there to be that they've been tragically lost. So it's like, I think what you're saying about that trauma center is good, because then not only could the teachers go, hey, I think we have this, you should talk to the student, but other students will now be empowered to go, hey, I know little Johnny's dad is beating him. You know, I want to anonymously let somebody know that he needs somebody, that way he doesn't fall through the cracks.
Right.
I think that's a good idea.
I think it is too. Like I said, I'll probably forward you that email because they're looking for letters of support.
So what are you doing right now as far as connecting with the community? Anything big coming up where people could come meet you if they wanted to?
Right now, we'll be at the Asparagus Festival all weekend. We got
working or eating asparagus?
No, we're working. We're actually able to get groups in to volunteer to earn money for their nonprofits.
Oh wow!
I've been able to help with that. We're help getting bands. We help work with getting people a beauty pageant, and like whenever they kind of need help with, you know, hey, just let me know and I'll see what I can do. You know, and that's
so you're not only you're a nonprofit, you're a resource to the community.
I'm a resource to the community. Yeah, it's a newer resource to the community. But you know, I'm just here trying to help everybody that wants to be helped. You know, because some people don't want to be helped.
So sometimes it's a never-ending battle. You're always asking, "Hey, do you want help?" Nope, I'm fine.
Yeah, I'm like, yes, yes.
Well, the door is always open.
Yeah.
So how do people get a hold of you? What's the best way to get a hold of you? Facebook, Instagram.
Facebook, Kelleys Angels. My Instagram. I have a Kelleys Angels one, but I just go ahead and use my
Facebook is the main way. I can message you.
Yeah, all the information is on there. We got our website's under construction right now.
Don't you know somebody who does websites?
Do I?
I thought you used to do websites.
Oh man, I don't have time to do the websites. I'm like on other guys. Like, yeah, I went to school to do websites and just to make fun of everybody. Yeah, it's like no, yeah. I do not do websites. Yeah, I'm a graphic designer. I know how to do screen printing. I know how to do a lot of stuff. Like you said, I can help you start nonprofits. I can help you.
Your focus has shifted. You have to know where to put your.
So yeah, like I said, I do focus on community and that. But you can always try. I mean, I'm not gonna be like, oh no.
So Facebook is the best way to get a hold of you. You want to meet Jamie Guerrero? He'll be at the Asparagus Festival.
Asparagus Alley.
Asparagus Alley.
Yeah.
Anything else coming up in the future?
Well, the thing also too is we have our old logo, which is always going to be old school original. And then I didn't bring my shirt, but we made a newer logo that's shortened up, so it's KAF with the wings on there, and that's more towards the younger crowd. And what we'll be doing is probably making more shirts that may be designed by like tattoo artists, kids.
Speaking of tattoo artists, Big Phil's coming on my show from Into Skin here in the next couple weeks.
Okay. That's cool. Well, we have to get a black and white design from him or none for something, and then basically depending on how much we get the design for, then we're going to be making shirts, and you know, of course, the donation price will fluctuate. The ones we have right now are $25, and
but if people wanted to donate shirts,
oh yeah, that's a whole new ballpark. But as far as we won't count on that.
Right. But if somebody's out there listening, they have a connection with shirts.
Yeah.
Get a hold of you. They want to donate.
Yep. And so that's probably something that we're going to be working on, and that's going to be like a youth-led shirt designs. And then, like, you know, of course,
Teaching the kids how to screen print.
right. You got it. You got
That's
it.
pretty
Like,
cool.
yeah. So, like I said, we'll probably invite you over there and give the kids.
Yeah, bring my kids.
Give the kids a little lesson on, you know, maybe saving money and what they would need to do to buy a house, and maybe realistic, like how much a payment would be, and give them some ideas, and, you know,
Giving them life skills.
life skills, definitely.
A lot of, I mean,
Oh yes, we know. A
my,
lot.
my parents didn't teach me how to, you know, save money and stuff like that. I had
Right.
to fall on my face a couple
Right,
times.
a couple-
Like, man.
Bank accounts closed.
Yeah, you know, it's like,
What did I
look,
do?
you know, but my kids are like, I don't need to know this. And like, yeah, you do.
You're doing exactly what you hope you would do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like, no, you ruin your credit and you owe us money.
So sweet. Thank you for coming on my
Oh,
show
yeah,
and
no
sharing your
problem.
story, man.
Thank you.
I appreciate you. So join me next week when Stephen Pacheco from Omega Sellers is going to be on here. We have something big coming up for the veterans that we're going to discuss. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for watching and listening, and I will see you next Wednesday between 10 and 11. Actually, we ran a little over today, but I will see you next week for sure. Have a great week, guys. What's up, Justin?
All right, audio is cut, video.